Good morning, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Saturday, April 18th at noontime, Mountain Time 2020. The models are in and they're showing heavy snow in eastern Canada moving forward, moving towards May. And that doesn't leave out Wisconsin, the Upper Peninsula, and the Northeast from heavy snow as we enter the end of April. The big story, southern states face giant hail as tornadoes for the second weekend in a row are possible. Keep calm. It's boom time. Denver weather. After 5 cold weather records, could this be winter's last stand? It's been a rough go in the Denver area. 5 cold weather records have been broken this week in Denver, including a new record low Friday morning when the city officially dropped to 12 degrees. Some are wondering if this could be the last wave of cold. But it snows here as late as June, end of June, sometimes in the middle of summer. Snow falls across parts of southern New England in April. Many southern New Englanders woke up to a blanket of snow, and we'll get to the official totals. Ann Arbor blanketed in spring snow. Beautiful shot there. And here's the official snowfall analysis from the last 24 hours. The big winner, central PA, picking up 8 inches across a large swath. And there's that snow blanketing all the way through southern New England to Providence and Boston. Some lingering snow today. We'll get to the models. But let's talk about the severe weather outbreak looming for the South just a week after 131 tornadoes were confirmed in the region. We have heavy snow and tornadoes. It is quite an active spring. And a quick-moving spring snowmaker brought several inches of snow to parts of the Midwest and Appalachians on Friday is now hitting the Northeast Saturday morning. Locally, more than a foot of snow in southern Iowa, parts of southern Michigan, and the Pennsylvania Appalachians received 6 inches of snow for the system on Friday afternoon. We just showed you those totals. Radar is showing that snow is falling in parts of New York's Hudson Valley into parts of Connecticut and Massachusetts this morning. And social media pictures confirm that snow is accumulating in these areas, mainly on grassy surfaces. 1 to 4 inches through Boston will be the final push this morning. Here you can see those locations. And the most recent confirmed tornadoes from last week. Take a look at this. 28 in Georgia, 24 tornadoes in Alabama, 21 in South Carolina confirmed, 16 confirmed in North Carolina, 15 in Mississippi, Louisiana. Just quite a significant outbreak. And Sunday's severe weather threat includes much of these same regions. There's an enhanced risk for severe weather from eastern Texas to South Carolina, and it is in this area that they have the highest risk for tornadoes, damaging winds, and large hail. Tornadoes and large hail will be possible in the slight risk area as well. So this is a pretty large area we're talking about. So be prepared for things to come. And the convection is expected to begin mid-Sunday morning. So that's when the main threat will begin. An all-day Sunday will not be a fun day. Let's check out the Weather Ready Nation map. Someone asked me that I recently blocked when I became such a shill, as if there is some other satellite data set or monitoring that I can use that's not tied to a government entity. That's almost ridiculous. I guess I could buy my own equipment, but I certainly wouldn't be able to report on weather the way I do worldwide, ahead of most meteorologists. So, you know what you can do. Severe weather outbreak possible across the southern U.S. on Sunday. Another outbreak of severe thunderstorms will be possible across the southern U.S. from Louisiana to Georgia. These severe storms will potentially contain damaging winds, large hail, potential tornadoes. Heavy rainfall and flooding will also be an issue across the region, mainly from Mississippi to South Carolina. You can see flood watches and warnings already up in those states, central Mississippi and Alabama, and all basically down the Mississippi corridor here. We have freeze warnings and watches for southeastern Pennsylvania and the southern mountains of the Appalachians. So if you planted food there, I'm sorry. You got to cover it. Heavy wind warnings in the south. As we look at the CMC model, what we're going to see here is that there's going to be some lingering snow Saturday, Sunday. There are the totals. So some more snow in the southern Appalachians, some light snow in these regions. The heaviest snow will be in Connecticut. And then a system moving into Colorado in the west. will bring some light to moderate snow through the central Sierras here, as well as all of the Colorado Rockies. We also have some heavy snow up in Montana. And then it's going to be quite a break while eastern Canada gets the brunt of it, and maybe another burst up here, Upper Peninsula, Michigan, and Wisconsin for your Wednesday and Thursday. When we see some more heavy snow coming into the picture for the west towards the end of the model, a very heavy system here moving through upper Wisconsin, April 25th, next weekend. So next weekend should be an interesting show here up in the northern tier on what actually falls down. Stay tuned. Seismic update. Biggest rocker out here in the middle of nowhere in the Pacific, thankfully. 6.6 Chichishima, Japan, in the middle of the water. Hundreds of miles from anybody. No tsunamis. We still have quite an uptick in moderate quakes from the intraplate rumblers that we've had over the past few weeks here. So, but nothing significant. We are waiting on a significant outbreak for seismic activity this spring. Ding, ding. Warnings have been issued. There were also some very strange quakes in Greenland recently. And we're keeping a close eye on that area. Worldwide volcano news update. 27,000 foot Sabankaya puffing today. Popo to 20,000. Shivalush, as well as Kluchiskov and the Kamchatka, ringing with multiple eruptions at 20,000 and 12,000. No significant eruptions. Kariminsk, moderate eruption, very low flight level, 5,000 feet. Sangay to 19,000. Nothing significant, just running over the standard details. Krakatoa is still puffing to 5 and 10,000 feet on the regs. Yeah. Let's talk about Yellowstone and its landmark weird movements. A lot of people have been fear-mongering about Yellowstone erupting. Our position for the last 3 years has been the same. The only evidence in this region of an eruption would be that in the hydrothermal fashion. So hydrothermal activity, this is the largest hydrothermal region in the world. It has more geysers per square mile than almost anywhere that can be found. And there is a very high risk for hydrothermal explosion here. Very different than a magmatic Yellowstone eruption, which would cover half of the continent. This is more of a local event. It could shoot hot liquid tens of thousands of feet into the air in the form of a large geyser. But what typically happens is the volatility moves around Yellowstone and areas become more or less active. So what we've seen in recent years is the Steamboat Geyser area become more active. And there are lots of scientists studying this. And most of the research around this region came from this 1979 paper, Recent Crustal Uplift in Yellowstone, where in 1978, they determined that from 1923 to 1978, the Yellowstone caldera is being uplifted relative to its surroundings. And this was in excess of 700 millimeters, 14 millimeters per year. Now, recent studies have confirmed these studies, but have added another piece that not only does the caldera inflate, but it also deflates. So it moves around. It's like a living surface based on volatility underneath. And the volatile areas that are uplifting are those areas that are also squirting out hot gases and boiling water like Steamboat Geyser. Recent activity has provided new insights into the cause of the surface deformation, and this paper just coming out brings that all together. And what it concludes is that there is no imminent Yellowstone eruption. There is potential for hydrothermal venting, which we've seen. And we've seen that in the form of Steamboat Geyser erupting the most it has ever erupted in the history of observing it. So, unless you're camping on top of Steamboat Geyser, there is nothing to worry about as far as Yellowstone. Normal activity with high resolution explanations, meaning read the papers that I just discussed and do your own homework. Now, NASA releasing this awesome image of Krakatoa erupting last week. Isn't that really that awesome? Our footage was better. And we have good news. April brings a starry spectacle as the Lyrid meteor shower returns. Now, the shooting stars are visible through April 25th with peak action in the early hours of April 22nd. With the Lyrids, you can expect 10 to 20 meteors per hour, potentially. And there's the data. Boom! And there's the meteorite. And the only way to see these is if you actually go outside. So, catch the peak action in the northern hemisphere after moonset and before dawn around April 22nd. Hope you got something out of the video. When you shelter in place, that does not mean you cannot go outside and take a look at the Lyrids. Most of the nation is going to start opening up. Open up your hearts. Open up your gardens. Plant a seed. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. We love each and every one of you. Thanks to our one-time donors. And for those of you that share these videos, be safe. We love you.